Bill Weisberg is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of AD, the largest buying and marketing group for the wholesale distributors in North America. Bill joined AD 32 years ago and became its Chairman and CEO 7 years later. Bill started AD Networks, led AD into Canada and Mexico, and expanded the company's distribution network beyond electrical supplies through 3 startups and 7 mergers to include general line industrial supply distributors, pipe, valves, and fittings distributors, plumbing distributors, HVAC distributors, building material distributors, and bearing and power transmission distributors. Total sales for the group currently exceed $30 billion. In 1999, Bill founded SupplyForce, a national accounts company that enables AD electrical, industrial, PT, and PVF members to collectively bid and service and fulfill integrated supply contracts for large, multiple location industrial facilities. In 2013, Bill and his wife started the Weisberg Family Foundation to serve the disadvantaged through the combined use of volunteerism and financial support. Bill is the parent to 8 children, has 2 grandchildren, and serves on the boards of Equip Leadership, Inc. and the Big Heart Brigade. Please join me in welcoming our Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Bill Weisberg.
Well, thank you so much, Matt, for your inspiring message and for that very kind introduction. There's a saying that behind every successful person is a very surprised mother-in-law. And I suspect that applies to a lot of us here today. It's certainly true in my case. We were very fortunate at AD to partner with some of the very best, most innovative and responsive suppliers in this entire industry. Companies that are the very fuel that's used to drive our collective results. And every year, several of these great suppliers step up and they help to sponsor this meeting. Not because they have to, but because they want to show their support for independent distribution. Please join me in recognizing and thanking these great companies. We have a record number of people at this meeting this year, and many of you are first-timers. If this is your first time here, I encourage you to reach out and to get to know others. You'll make many great, strong friendships if you do. And if this is one of your return visits, well, I thank you for coming back. And most importantly, I thank you for making AD the organization that it truly is. It's your footsteps that echo through the halls of AD history. It is your work that has laid the foundation on which we and future generations will build. And it's your passion for our shared purpose that drives us forward. Together, we win is much more than just a slogan at AD. It's a clear and a simple articulation of our DNA. It is what we truly believe, that as strong and as successful as we are individually, together we are stronger. Across 7 divisions in 3 countries with more than $31 billion in annual sales, nearly 4,000 locations, over 500 independent members with 55,000 employees. There is no entity that rivals AD for market power. For over 30 years, too, we have consistently and significantly outpaced GDP, and we've driven above average growth for our supplier partners. That's why we say, together we win. We expect this year to finish as another record year, with AD member sales across all our divisions and countries up 4% on average over the previous year, and total rebates that we forecast to be distributing this year for the very first time, surpassing $500 million. Now, divisional growth within each of our divisions varies, depending greatly on their customer segments. Construction and building material divisions are leading the pack. Oil and gas, and those that are more industrial in focus, less so. 2015 started out pretty strong, but it's ending up a good bit softer than it started. Now, this division, like those others, has grown enormously since where you were before the Great Recession, and certainly afterwards. You are much larger and much stronger than where you were before. And so I encourage you to keep that in perspective. And remember, when markets are soft, as they are wont to become from time to time, it is AD independents that typically grow their market share. And that happens in part because of national chain overreaction and over-retrenchment. We have a current example this year. Our electrical business in Canada is up 9% in a market that is down 4%. That's the power of being independent and taking the long-term view. We take share when others are flat or down. We have a long-range outlook on things. And AD continues to grow within each of our industries, and we're expanding into new ones. We launched our bearings and power transmission division just this year, with the startup of 28 very strong independents. And in 2016, we're expanding into Canada with our plumbing and heating business through our merger with the Canaplus group of 29 great distributors. But you are in one industry, or maybe you're in two. So what does this size, what does this multi-divisional structure, what does this performance that I've referenced mean for you? Well, the answer is plenty. First, AD's scale provides operational efficiencies that enable us to keep our overhead costs low. How low? Well, in the last 15 years, our operating expenses as a percentage of our rebates have been cut in half. Second, our investments in people, in services, in innovative programs to support your businesses has increased exponentially. Third, AD provides purchasing power by leveraging our collective strength. Not only does AD provide the highest rebate of any group in this industry, but over the last 10 years, the average rebates in each of our divisions have grown by over 200 basis points. That is purchasing power. And finally, and most importantly perhaps, AD's scale and efficiency ensures that 100% of the rebates that we receive are distributed to our members. In many ways, that may be the strongest statement about the power of AD and our commitment to our members and to our suppliers. Every other group in this or any industry deducts their expenses from the rebates before they distribute them. We use our investment income to cover our expenses and are therefore able often to distribute over 100% of the rebates that our suppliers provide to you. We have a unique competitive advantage. But did you ever stop to wonder what it is that drove us all to be together in and under this one umbrella? I mean, we're not just the best independents in this industry. We represent the best independents and the best suppliers in 7 industries and in 3 countries. What was it that brought us all together? What is it that we're trying to accomplish by being together? And what confidence should we have that we will be successful? Well, those are the 3 things that I will be talking about today. The reason that we are together, the work that we need to do together, and the confidence that we should all have that we will win together. The reason, the work, and the confidence. So let's start with the reason. What was it that brought us all together? What is it, in fact, that led to the start of every single AD division? What is it that led to the formation of each of the 7 groups that over the course of the last 4 decades merged into AD? Well, there is actually something very specific that we share, something very specific that brought us all together. It is the need to counter the aggressive use of leverage by very large companies who seek competitive advantages. The aggressive use of leverage by very large companies is not unique to this industry, nor is it confined to a single moment in history. The aggressive use of leverage by very large companies is universal, and it is timeless. Large companies always seek competitive advantages based on their size. That is just what large companies do. They seek lower pricing, special terms, higher rebates, marketing allowances, catalog placement fees, e-commerce support fees, dedicated resources, and whatever else that they can get. I don't fault them at all for asking. That is their prerogative. But over time, the accumulation of competitive advantages, if it is undefended, results in the establishment of an unlevel playing field. And that is not good for any industry. See, it's very hard for a small or a mid-sized company to win a project, bid, or an MRO contract when their purchase prices are higher than a very large company's selling prices. It's very hard for small and mid-sized distributors to make investments in new facilities, product specialists, and e-commerce solutions when they have to fund everything themselves, while large competitors are often subsidized by special allowances and supplier-supported higher margins. And it's very hard for manufacturers to build their brands when very large companies are promoting their own house brands. It is, of course, for these very reasons that large companies seek competitive advantages. They want to win. They want market dominance. And while that may be good for their shareholders, it's not good for the industry in which they operate. It leads to depressed margins for suppliers, and ultimately to higher prices for customers. It leads to less innovation in an industry and bureaucracy. It leads to customer dependence instead of customer service, and supplier captivity instead of supplier partnerships. Now, I'm not saying that this industry is like that, but we all know some that are. Industries where suppliers are afraid of their very own customers. Industries where suppliers fear for the future of their brands because their largest customers promote house brands. Industries where suppliers are issued aggressive demand after aggressive demand. Now, as students of history, as students of business, we know that whenever too much power is concentrated in the hands of too few, it always leads to trouble. It's a dangerous road to travel. It's a dangerous environment in which to operate. Just ask all the Sears or Walmart suppliers that are no longer in business. And the simple truth is that whether you are a distributor or whether you are a supplier, there are some people in this world who do seek to dominate this industry. And they see it as their duty, as their job, to leverage every bit of size that they have to create competitive advantages for themselves, which by definition equate to competitive disadvantages for all of us here. This is not new. This has been going on for a very long time. And it is this that led to the creation of AD and to the formation of every division that we have. We came together to level the playing field so that good independents can overcome the size advantages of global chains, and so that good suppliers are not held captive by a handful of overly dominant distributors. We came together to defend and to grow our competitive market positions, our brands, and our independence. That's the reason we're together. That is a cause worth fighting for. So we have identified the reason that we are here. Let's talk about the specific work that we need to do in order to successfully fight this battle together. At $31 billion in total company sales, AD is huge. We are bigger, in fact, than any of these large companies that seek to threaten us individually as members or as suppliers. However, there is a very important difference between being together as a group and working together as a group. The collective volume of AD members, as great as it is, it only helps us compete when we focus and collaborate in the support of specific suppliers. The collective power of AD manufacturer brands, as strong as they are, well, it only is protected and defended when those distributors who truly promote your brand are not disadvantaged. And the collective intelligence and creativity of everyone here in this room, as fantastic as that truly is, well, that only helps us win when we share best practices and when we collaborate in the development and the support of innovative programs and services. What it takes for us to win is the combination of our volume, our intelligence, with collaboration. That's why we say, together we win. Are we able to work together? Yes, we are. And we have proven our ability to do so throughout our history. Back when AD started, there was a huge disparity between the rebate programs that the independents received and what was given to the chains. Manufacturers did not do for independents what they did for chains. AD addressed that inequity. But the status quo, as you can well imagine, was not easy to change. It never is. Most suppliers initially refused to negotiate with us or to join. The early days of AD were lean and they were hard. And it's not unlike what we're experiencing this very year in our newly created bearings and PT division. And yet, from a starting point of just $1 million a year in rebates, we now distribute $500 million. And since our inception, have distributed $5.3 billion in rebates. Think about the positive impact that that has had. How much more successful is the AD distributor community today because of those funds than what you would have otherwise been? How many fewer locations would you have opened? How many fewer people would you have hired? And how much less would we have grown with AD supplier brands if not for those incentives and for that support? A level playing field is in all of our interests. How did we get here? How did we get from those early days when things were tough to where we are right now? We supported the suppliers who supported us, every AD member. We grew business and we moved business. And we showed the industry that there is real value in being an AD supplier, that it brings faster growth, a better joint planning effort, increased loyalty, and unrivaled support. And so the suppliers came, and from that, great reward, $5.3 billion of reward. Now, sadly, even to this day, there are some manufacturers that are supporting nationals who refuse to join AD and who do not treat our members fairly. And some of you here, for your own good reasons, do business with some of them. I respect your need to do business with whomever you think best. I truly do. But when we each go our own way, and when we grow our business with those companies who do not share our purpose, we weaken our ability to successfully compete with the nationals. And we deny ourselves, through our very own actions, the opportunity to be treated equally and compensated fairly. If we want suppliers to provide us with the same levels of support, the same pricing that they provide to national chains, we need to show them through our actions that they must. We need to unite in support of those suppliers who treat us properly. And we need to show those who are unwilling to properly invest in independence that their short-term cost savings will be eclipsed by the margin dollars that they lose on the business that we shift to those suppliers that treat us fairly. This is the way of the world. This is the way it has always been. It's not easy to change the status quo, but we have done it, and it can be done. And so I encourage you to draw up a plan of action with specific goals for the growth of your AD supplier business. We can't fight this battle with one hand tied behind our back. We need each of you here in the fight. We need to be united. And to those of you here who are AD suppliers, I want you to know that we truly and sincerely value your support. We know that you value independent distribution. That's why you're here. But you too must be diligent, and you have to be proactive. Your AD programs must continue to be competitive with what you provide the nationals if you want us to fight on behalf of your company and defend and grow your brands. And the pricing that you provide to your loyal AD customers must be competitive as well. Large companies are always going to try and push you around. They will always ask you for more. But you have to be very careful to maintain balance so as not to undermine your very own future by providing disproportionate margin support to those who do not have your best interests at heart. We do. AD members have your best interest at heart. AD members are committed to your future, and we need your best programs in order to fight on your behalf. Does this take courage? Perhaps it does. But more importantly, it takes wisdom. And it's a wisdom that will be greatly rewarded, not just in terms of short-term return on investment, but long into the future. Now, the battle for a level playing field is not only about equal pricing, equal project support, and equal rebates. It is also a battle that has to be fought anywhere and everywhere that very large companies can utilize their size advantage to their competitive advantage and to the disadvantage of independence. And certainly this applies to what is happening right now on the internet. Virtually all the major chains in every AD industry are making huge investments in business-to-business e-commerce, and they are showing progress. Should we all be concerned about that? Yes, we should. Because unless we pool our resources, large companies will be able to outspend us and outdevelop us. And unless we work together, we cannot make the capital investments that are necessary in order to compete, in order to win. But working together as a $31 billion team of independents, we have the financial resources to go toe-to-toe with anyone. And thanks in great measure to the leadership of your divisional board, that is exactly what we are now doing. We now have full-time staff members working inside AD, specifically to support e-commerce. We have active engagements with business partners and consultants. We are building content, attributing content, normalizing data, organizing data, and we have earmarked millions of dollars for e-content production, paid search demand generation, dedicated resources, and the purchase of licenses and technology. Our e-content library will have millions of fully attributed, normalized SKUs. And this is not a one-time build that will be outdated before it's even finished. This is an ongoing initiative to ensure that our members will always have the tools that they need and the content that they need to compete online, no matter how the market evolves, and to ensure that our supplier partners are properly represented online as well. Our scale across 7 industries is a huge competitive advantage in this regard, and our goal is to ensure a level playing field for AD members and AD suppliers in an online world. The investments that we are making in this initiative are very significant. The investments that our individual members are now making in this initiative alongside of us are significant as well. We are making these investments not only to ensure our future, but to ensure the future of our supplier partners and their brands. And we are asking for your support. As I'm sure every supplier here knows, the programs and the special allowances that you provide to the national chains, those are going directly or indirectly to the funding and the support of their e-commerce activity. And so I hope and trust that AD, as an equally valued partner, will have your equal support and participation. Because one of the most important front lines in the battle for equality and competitive balance is surely the internet. I've mentioned 2 specific areas where it is smart for us to work together: supplier support, technology, e-commerce. I'd like to mention a third in passing, and that is people development. National chains, by virtue of their scale, can afford to fund huge HR departments and people development services that most independents just can't afford. But leveraging our collective size, we can access these same services, and we can adopt and we can share these best practices. That's why we're very pleased to announce at this very meeting the launch of ADHR Services, a comprehensive suite of programs that will make it easier for AD members to recruit, motivate, develop top talent. Independents have a tremendous story to tell in this regard. After all, if you want job security, the opportunity for upward advancement based on merit and not politics, if you want to work at a company that values people and has a great culture, where better to work than at an AD independent member's business? And I hope some of you have brought applications with you to this very meeting. AD HR Services will strengthen every AD member's ability to attract, train, develop, and retain the very best people. And we look forward to the positive impact that this program will have on our collective success. So I've talked about the reason that we're together. I've talked about some of the work that we need to do together. Why should we have great confidence that we will win together? And my short answer to that question is sitting right in front of me. It's you. You are the reason that I have great confidence in our ability to win. I've been at my post for 32 years, and I've had the privilege of getting to know so many amazing people. And I don't just mean the business owners of our member companies or the presidents of our supplier businesses. There are great and amazing people at every level of every AD member and supplier I've ever met. Now, I know that sometimes you might not feel like a great and amazing person. That's only natural. No life is perfect. And I know that each of you have many goals that you have not yet achieved. And that's a good thing. Keep on striving. That's how your dreams are going to be realized. But think about where you started and look at how far you've come. And consider, if you will, the positive impact that you have had on so many others, on coworkers, customers, on suppliers, on your fellow AD members and your friends. That is how I define success. And that's how I measure greatness. And so I encourage you to see yourself as I see you, as incredibly smart and motivated people who bring your A game with you to work every day because you love what you do. Your collective passion to succeed is a competitive advantage that no chain, regardless of their size, can ever replicate. Never take yourself for granted, and never take each other for granted either. And there's one other thing that we have here that is a tremendous competitive advantage of ours, and that is our diversity. We don't all think alike or act the same by any means. We run our businesses, we do our jobs, each in our own way. We have our own perspective on things because we've got our own set of circumstances. We work in different sized companies, we service different types of customers, we live in different types of cities and towns. And we've each traveled our own road to get here with our own life experiences. So we can reach different conclusions and adopt different strategies, sometimes on the very same thing. So do we sometimes make mistakes? Well, of course we do. But more often than not, two very different decisions, two completely different strategies are equally valid because of a specific market reality. And so unlike a monolithic chain or enterprise that has but one way of doing things, we have many. And through this wonderful diversity of ours, there is wisdom and there is strength. Our diversity and your collective passion for success are truly competitive advantages. They are why AD members outgrow the industry year after year. And you are why I have such tremendous confidence in our ability to win. There is no doubt in my mind, each of us, each of our businesses are stronger because we're together. Each of our lives are richer because we're together. And our future success as independents and as suppliers who support independence is far more certain and assured because we are together. Independent, always, but together we win. Thank you for listening.